Hello, everyone. I say everyone knowing that I'm most likely talking to probably two or three people out there at most, but that's not what's important. What's important is my name is Art Szadny, and I'm starting my own YouTube channel. Um, I've been asked about this for a while, and I just really didn't have a reason to do this. Part of the reasoning behind that was that I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and there's a lot of really good content out there, a lot of good people. But what I thought I would try to do, instead of trying to focus on one area or another, I would try to kind of combine the things that I'm interested in that I think you might find interesting and the things that people have been asking me for. So the hobbies that I have tend to be kind of diverse. The things that I like to do are a little different uh, than most people's interests, I think. So what I'd like to do is try to cover a variety of subjects and then see what people like the most, if they like any of it at all. So what I'd like to do is not make this a talking head video where people just watch me talk. That's not interesting. So what I want to do is make this more active. So I'll take the webcam and actually record while I'm doing things. I'm going to concentrate on a few subjects, and then what I'd like to do in the timeline on the video is identify what subjects I'm going to talk about when. So you may not be interested in one or more of the subjects, but you may be interested in another one. That way you can kind of focus on what you would like to watch. So I'm going to cover things like mead making. I've been asked quite a bit about making mead, which is fermenting honey, the way that I do it. And we'll cover that subject extensively because that's something that I truly enjoy doing. It's a passion of mine. Really enjoy it. Talk about home brewing a little bit, not quite as much, but I got started in home brewing, which led to mead making. But I still brew beer occasionally, and so we'll talk about that too. And then other hobbies that I have, playing the drums, especially at church. I'm kind of semi-retired from that right now, but I can talk a little bit about some things that I did, some approaches that I used, some things that I found to work, things that didn't work. Also talking about another hobby I have in the winter, which is ammunition reloading, pistol, rifle, going to the range, shooting pistols and rifles, and then reloading the ammunition. It's a neat hobby. If anybody's interested in that, I found that the hobbies I have, especially reloading ammunition, making mead, and brewing beer, are things that are tough to read about and then learn. It's easier to watch somebody or to have somebody show you how to do it. So what I want to do is cover that, cover things like music that I find meaningful and enjoyable, some videos that I found, some things that I found that really make me happy that I think other people may enjoy as well. May even talk a little bit about books, movies, just current events. What I really don't want to discuss or really want to go into at all is politics and sports. Those of you who know me know that I have little to no interest in politics or sports. Politics is kind of tough because you can't really discuss some things without talking about politics a little bit. But what I want to do is have a polite discourse. I don't want to just sit here and rant and rave about things that other people may find useful, may not. Um, anyway, I'd like to kind of share some ideas with people. And what I'm really going to do is solicit your input. If you find something that you think is interesting that I've touched upon or something that I've covered enough and you don't need to hear any more about it, please let me know. Please provide me some feedback. I'd really appreciate it. We're going to see how this goes. Minimal investment, right? We don't have to do very much. And that's one thing I can talk to people about is what does it take to create a YouTube channel? What hardware do you need? What kind of software do you need? That kind of thing. I haven't even looked at video editing software yet because I really don't know what I'm going to use, but I'll find something and I can be able to share that with people. But my goal is to be able to have a little place where I can be a little creative and share some of the things that I've learned along the way. I've been asked by individuals pretty much the same kinds of questions. How do you do this? What works for you? What doesn't work? And I thought, well, instead of doing this individual one-on-one, I could do this on a YouTube channel and then reach more people and hopefully be able to cover more material in a more meaningful way and engage more people. So my goal isn't to have the most followers. My goal is to provide people with interesting material, things that they find useful. One of the other things that My wife Beth and I and my family, my son Daniel, my daughter Rebecca, really find enjoyable as trying different foods from around the world, trying different foods from different cultures, appreciating different cultures. We've done this pretty much our whole lives, and what I would like to do is talk about that a little bit and actually go over some of the places we've eaten, the foods we've tried, feedback about them. You may find something that you'd like to try that you've never had before, and it might seem scary to you, but if you watch the video and you see what it's all about, it may not be scary at all. One of the greatest things for me is to expose people to something that they haven't seen or done before or tried before, and they try it and they really enjoy it. So I'm hoping that this will be another way to expose people to different things, especially in this time when we're kind of stuck in our homes and we don't know how long this is going to last, things like that. I think it's helpful to have another outlet, right? Um, and so if this leads some other people to do the same thing, then I'm very happy about that. So I'm in my office in the house upstairs on the second floor, but I don't plan on staying here. What I would like to do is get a camera so that I can move around a little bit, especially my hobbies tend to be basement hobbies, right? So when I'm down the basement working on mead or anything like that, I want to be able to take the camera with me and show you folks what I'm doing. And then I'm also going to have to edit that quite a bit. I found that the videos that I like the most on YouTube are really well edited, and there's good music in the appropriate places. But the editing to me has got to be spot on. There are many channels out there, and I can share them with you, that present information in a very interesting manner, and they do editing to the extent that when you watch the video, there's no wasted time. You really believe that you've spent your time in a valuable pursuit. You've learned something. What I also really enjoy is taking a subject that people may not know about and trying to make it interesting, and maybe expose people to something that they've never heard of or never thought about, and make it a little more interesting for them. Um, I've watched videos on YouTube about things that I have absolutely no interest in, and the people are really, really good at doing this, and they've made it interesting. And when I'm done watching the video, I'm glad that I watched it. So we'll talk about that too. But again, the most important thing to me is to hear from you folks, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see me do more of or less of. And there may not be any interest in this at all, and then I just don't do it. But that's fine. I just wanted to try, right? The nice thing about the technology we have in our homes now is it enables us to do things without a major investment of money. There will always be a little investment of time, but we're able to do something that we couldn't have done 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. And it's kind of cool to be able to do that. So I'm hoping to be able to cover a wide variety of subjects in a way that makes sense. And some of the things are going to be seasonal. Some things are going to be, hey, this is what I'm doing right now that other people may be doing too, or hey, it's kind of a downtime, and so this is what I do during downtime to try to keep my batteries recharged. I'll also not mention people by name unless they ask me to. I want to respect people's privacy. I want to make sure that I give credit to people where credit's due, but I also don't want to throw out names out there if people don't want their name being mentioned. So I may be asking several of you to, if it's okay if I use your name. Once I get going on this, if it does get going, I may ask people to be guests on the show and to talk about things on my YouTube channel and to see how that would work. So there's always something new out there. There's always something I'd like to try, and I think this could be fun. If it's not, it's not. But I'd like to be a doer and not a watcher, so I'd like to be able to expose other people to the stuff that I've been doing. You may find it interesting. You may find something that you'd like to do. Also, you could share your interests and your hobbies with me, and I could discover something else out there. So there's just a really neat avenue of exploring different things. I remember, especially on YouTube, finding new music. It's just so exciting to me to find a new band or a new style of music and expose myself to something that I'd never heard of before, never seen before. and really enjoy that. So I'm hoping that I can share some of that with everybody. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, thank you very much, and I appreciate your patience.